And listen, today's message, and if I could even put a title on it, and I say this a lot, and for all those people in this area who hear me preach every single week, I want to talk about being a corner man or a corner woman. It's a boxing term, and I know Ray's a successful boxer. I just heard the story about him, you know, great story and all that. And then I have in my own family a failed boxer, my dad. My dad is really pretty. Like, I mean, he's 67, he's very pretty. But I asked him probably 15, 20 years ago, Dad, why is your nose a little crooked, you know? And he goes, well, you know, I used to be a boxer back in the day, and my third fight, the guy broke my nose, and it went crooked, and he's like, I'm too pretty to keep doing this. I said, Dad, you're right. Way to get out of it, right? But I want to talk about marriages, and I want to talk about what it is. And I want to talk about what it is to encourage. I don't want to give you specific things about what you should or shouldn't do. I want to encourage you guys all today to be the best corner man or woman that the world has ever seen, especially in your relationship, okay? And what will happen if you do that, okay? Now, I always lead, my wife and I for the past 19 years have led a marriage builders class at our house. Mainly because early on, she and I needed counseling. I know you look at us and we're like, whew, that's a good couple. Like the Webster's Dictionary would have us in that picture, be like, that's what I want. Richard, don't lie, you know that's true. But early on, I mean, that first year, it was tough. I think I left the house twice. I think one of us maybe even said the D word. You know, it was hard. And so we started doing this marriage builders at our previous church, and we said, you know what, we need to keep on doing this for other people. And the first thing I always say to every marriage that comes in there is this, and the wives don't like it. So I'll be and mothers don't like it. But I always say this to all of them. I want you guys to all know that today and forever, your kids come second, your spouse comes first. And they hate that. Ooh, girl, do you hate that? How dare you say that? I love my babies. Grandkids still come second to your spouse. I tell them all the time, one day your kids will leave your home and your spouse will still be there. Your decision, are you strangers in your own house, or did your family and your kids see what a great relationship was because you put your spouse first? I tell my kids every time, on the totem pole, on of 1 to 10, you guys are like number 8, and you know it. They're like, Dad, let's go out to dinner. I'm like, I'd rather go out to dinner with your mom than ever go out to dinner with you guys. Like, but that's just truth. I love her and I. I love vacations with her. I love talking with her. I like you guys the other day, we're on YouTube watching praise and worship. I want that too. Your kids come second, your spouse comes first, okay? Just like if he is the groom and you are the bride, who comes first? He comes first to you, and I guarantee you're first to him. It's the same model that we'll be talking about today. And so listen, today I'm going to be talking about a couple that you guys probably didn't see coming, that you guys didn't even think was even a realistic thing. But I want to talk about maybe the one of the most influential couples where God intervenes and it changes everything. I'm talking about the groom of God and the bride of Paul. Okay? Because everyone, whether you're married or not, you're in a relationship with the Lord. Okay? And I want to see what God has done, because as we all know, Saul became Paul. Saul kills over 1,000 believers during this time, doesn't want anything to do with Jesus, denounces the Christian faith, kills them all. Jesus shows up and says, no, now you and I are in a relationship. No one will break us apart. What God has intended to be together, let no man separate. Not even prison, not even death, not even anything could separate this. And so what happens is the groom encourages the bride, and let's look at what the bride did. If we can look at Paul in in 2 Timothy verses 1, verses 3 through 8. Hallelujah. It says, Timothy, this is Paul writing to Timothy. Timothy, I thank you, the God I serve with a clear conscience, just as my ancestors did. Day and night, I constantly remember you in my prayers. I long to see you again. These aren't his own words. Christ has said that too as well. I long to be with my people. For I remember your tears as we parted. And I will be filled, I will be filled with joy when we are together again. I remember your genuine faith, for you shared the faith that was first shared by your grandmother and your mother. Keep that in your mind, shared by your mother and your grandmother. And I know the same faith continues strong in you. This is why I remind you to fan the flames, the spiritual gift God gave you when I laid my hands on you. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and self-discipline. So never be ashamed to tell others about the Lord, and don't be ashamed of me, even if I'm in prison for him. With the strength God gives, be ready to suffer with me for the sake of the good news. Couples, to all couples in here, either married or in a relationship with Christ right now, we all must at times lean on the faith of the elders in our lives. As couples, the world wants to tell you that you are not gonna work. The world wants to destroy what God has brought together. Kyra and Mikey, you just got married 2 weeks ago, right? Everything is gonna come at you in the future. And I hope that today you will lean on the faith of the people next to you and the people around you and in church. Praise God you're in church. I've known you for a couple months now. But I want this to be an encouragement in this moment. Because Paul makes a big claim or a big observation. He goes, Timothy, your faith that you have is because of your mother and your grandmother and what they had set as a foundation for you. All of us at times need to learn from the people that are around us. All of us as couples need to go and seek counsel for the people that have successful marriages. And the only reason why you had a successful marriage is because you went through the trials and the tribulations to get to where you are now. You guys just see Isis and I in our 9 seconds of glory. Meanwhile, like Usain Bolt says, I trained 4 years to run 9 seconds. That's the same thing. 19 years later, this is what is produced from that. But we need to look at the elders and then see what they have to say. Now listen, I don't know if you guys have some crazy elders. I have some crazy elders in my family. I mean, you ever hear those stories where you're like, that's just not true? That's not true. When you had an earache back in our house, my grandpa was a Cherokee Indian, okay? And he had some weird remedies to fix these earaches. And so we would always go swimming in the summer because you're kids or whatever. And he would say, okay, you have an earache. And then he'd be like, all right, let's fix that. And my grandma submitted to her husband, and I wish she wouldn't have in this moment. He would lay us all 6 grandchildren down on the ground because we all have the same earache. And he's Cherokee Indian, and he would pee in our ear. I'm sorry, that's a true story. I'm not even exaggerating at all, right? Now, it did work. I never got another earache again. Or I never told him I had one afterwards. But there are crazy things that what happens that your elders will teach you that you're just not gonna keep. And then there's also the ones that I don't know if your dad always wanted to tell you I had it way worse than you did. Like your parents always want to tell you, oh, you have it so much easier than I did back in my day. Anybody else got that parent like that? And you're like, I know you had it good too as well. My dad would always complain, I had to walk 5 miles to school every single day. He did tell me that. He goes, yeah, we had to walk in the snow during winter. Guess what I found out when I was 21? It doesn't snow in Fresno. A web of lies, Dad. My dad would tell me that he saved the state championship football game by tackling the guy at the 1-yard line to save it, and everyone celebrated him, right? It was a Pee-wee football game, and it was flag football in 8th grade. Come on, Dad. Are you kidding me? But what they leave behind will have some kind of impact. Now, these are all funny stories, but I remember it to this day. But the most impactful story that had ever happened in my entire life, there were 2 of them. We were on Arch Road after a baseball game one time. My dad stops at the gas station to give me a Gatorade. Meanwhile, there are 2 black ladies in a broken down car, and it's like 11 o'clock at night, and it's raining, and it's cold. And my dad walks over there and says, hey, ladies, Jay, right? What's up, Jay? You were there last time, now you're over there. I got you. And so anyway, Dad walks over there and he says, hey, what's going on? Do you have a ride? Because cell phones didn't exist back then. And they go, hey, our ride will be here at 5 o'clock in the morning. They're driving from LA or something like this. And I was like, dang. And I was like, all right, Dad, this is a bad part of town. Can we go? Can we go? Can we go? You know? And my dad turns around and he goes, no. He's like, you know what, you 2 ladies, like, once you come home, my wife and my kids are all there. You're going to stay here. At 4:30, I'll wake you up and I'll drive you back. I'm like, Dad, why would you do that? He's like, wouldn't you want someone to help us too? I thought, wow, what an amazing story at age 9 to see that. But the most impactful one ever was this one, was that when I was 12 years old on Fremont Street, exiting off of 99, we get rear-ended and the car gets smashed. Now, mind you, we just got out of church that day, that night. We're praising Jesus at Discovery Free Will Baptist, and then my parents, they always reward us with Tiger's yogurt back in the day. Is Tiger's yogurt still exist out here? Right, I still love that place, right? We all had it. We were singing the East to the West, because that was a big song back then. But we get rear-ended, and that night, I exit the car, my brother exits the car, my mom and dad get out, but we realize as we're all standing on the side of the freeway, my brother Ryan is not responsive, and he is smashed up against the passenger driver seat. We don't know if he's breathing, he's not moving, and I'm crying, I'm emotional. My brother's dead, okay? For 22 minutes, my mom and dad are trying to revive my brother. The ambulance isn't there, and I'm screaming, and I'm yelling, and I'm crying, and I'm like, God, why would you do this? We're just in church right now. Like, for the love of God, man, we're just praising your name. We're celebrating with yogurt, man. Like, God, why would you ruin such a beautiful night amongst this family right here? Why are you killing my brother right now? And I see the car on the other side of the freeway smashed up and smoking, and no one's over there. And you know what I thought in my mind at 12 years old? Good, let them die. I know no one else has ever wished anything bad on someone. I know you have been wronged and you're like, oh no, I still love my enemies. I know that's you. That wasn't me at that time. My brother was dead. That's what it felt like. I didn't know if he was alive. Ambulance comes. My mom gets in the ambulance and takes my brother away, and I'm stuck there with my dad, my little brother Eric, and myself, and I'm throwing pieces of car onto the freeway. Like, God, I couldn't believe you do this, and I'm screaming. I even maybe said a few choice words at age 12. My dad could see the pain in my voice, and I'm like, they killed Ryan, they killed Ryan. And my dad looks at me right in that moment, and he goes, hey man, no one's over at the other car. And I'm like, good. And he goes, David, we need to go over there and help them. We need to go pray for them. Who prays for the man who just killed your brother? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. You did. You did. And I go, Dad, why would we go pray for this man? And he goes, David, they need Jesus too. Ryan lives. But what you learn from your elders will have a lasting effect today. At this point that day, I learned that I love God with all my heart, soul, and mind, and I love my enemy as myself because of what you laid down as a foundation. As couples, what will we leave behind for the people that are in our lives? Will you build a foundation where they will rise up and be faith-filled people that at a moment's notice, if someone killed someone in your family that you believed had happened, would you still go pray for them? What you leave behind will have a lasting effect, just like Timothy had with his grandmother and mother. Paul talks more about what he has learned from his relationship with Christ as he continues in my second point, is that a father figure, Paul, and his encouragement. Now, this isn't meant just for people that are married. I'm sorry, Kai, I know last time I went too long. How much time do I have? Am I like 10:30? Yeah. 10:30? It's because you took so long earlier. Hey, Pastor, you too as well, man. I'm looking at that. They have two transitions. I'm looking like, Laborio, they're taking the mic out of my hands. You knew it too. You're like, oh, that's cool. It's not my show. It's your show. I'm just saying. Listen, in 2 Timothy, I want to go back to chapter 2, verses 1 through 3. It says, this letter is from Paul. He's telling Timothy, chosen by the will of God to be an apostle of Jesus Christ. It has been sent out to others about the life he has promised through the faith of Jesus Christ. I am writing to Timothy, my dear son. May God the Father and Christ Jesus, our Lord, give you grace, mercy, and peace. Do you pray that for other people? Do you pray that for the people that are your enemies too as well, or do you just pray that for your friends too as well? Paul is writing it to Timothy. I pray for love, mercy, and peace. Timothy, I thank God for you. Kai, I thank God for you. Honestly, to be honest, you see me. You make me feel encouraged. When we're in meetings and I'm like, no one hears me. Kai, you said on two occasions, David, I see you and I affirm what you're saying. Kai, I thank God for you, my man. Seriously. I thank God for you, the God I serve with a clear conscience, just as my ancestors did. Night and day, I constantly remember you in my prayers. I long to see you again, for I remember your tears as we parted, and I will be filled with joy when we are together again. Paul is not Timothy's father, but he writes words of encouragement to him as the Father in heaven does to his children. It is so much more to be negative in the world. Who here loves being negative? Yeah, you can all raise your hands because I know you like being negative too, babe. Look, my wife was like, my wife knows you gotta be honest. I like being negative. Who here doesn't like to be a little bit negative? Who here has a husband that you know you need to bring down a few pegs? Norma, I know you need to bring down Laborio a few pegs. Those muscles just aren't big. That head is too, brother. I'm just kidding. But we all like to be negative, and what happens is Paul is sending out words of encouragement to build up another brother in this moment. As a spiritual father, mother, we should do the same. Encourage, lift up others, and if need be, correct in love and mercy. Isis, I know you don't like being on stage, but can you please come here for a second? Please. Oh my God, I hate being up on stage. Oh my gosh. You're so pretty, everyone will really like it. Can you flip that around for me? During COVID, I don't know about you, but we had businesses and I thought all was lost. We didn't get the PP money, we didn't get any of that. And so I was in a desperate spot at this time, okay? And my wife, she's not what you would call super inspirational, okay? She's quick to tell me every area I'm messing up in. Anybody else got a wife like that? All raise your hands, thank you very much. But God had spoken to her this time and told her, hey, I know we're not in church, but you're gonna start a church. I shared that story last time. But during that time of my depression that I was going through, because I thought all was lost, I thought all was gone, my wife has never spoken a word over me. She would pray for me gently at times. She would touch my head and I'd wake up in the middle of the night and her being praying for me. But she started doing something. She started leaving me all these little phrases. Nothing's impossible till it's done. Everything seems impossible till it's done. There's so much of encouraging words. And it spoke to me and lifted me up because you wanna know why? I believed in this time I had someone rooting for me. I had someone in my corner, okay? I had someone saying, David, you can go another round. You can make it through this right now. Now, this isn't God or Jesus, but what an awesome instrument of you allowing God to speak these words to a man who is almost always positive. You can't convince me not to be positive. And for her to see her husband now can't be positive or now can't encourage others, she goes, I'll take it now and I'll do it for you. I wrote this, Isis Federico, here are your letters of encouragement to me. Your words will always Your words will always have a positive impact on me. Don't stop. Thank you. David Federico, 8/6/20. Stay here. I talk to everyone about the opportunity to be a corner man. When Isis and I first started dating, I went and grabbed her hand like this. Her hand in front, mine in the back. You know what she said to me? She goes, no, who leads this relationship? And she switched it. And she goes, you lead and I'll back you up. This is one of the greatest cornermen in the entire world. You can go back to down. As couples, and I'm gonna speak to every single one of you that are in a relationship, either here on earth or with a father. At all times, encourage your partner to go one more round. Encourage them to say, you can get back up, and I promise you, I'm right behind you. And when the moment when they're weak and they don't feel it in their bones, lift them up. Because Christ does that. All he does is resurrect the dead to the living, okay? We as spouses, we replicate in our relationship the relationship that's here. You cry out to God, God, I need this, or God, I thank you for this, or God, I praise you for this. Who here has yelled that out? God, we should say, God, I thank you for my spouse. I thank you for what you've given me. I want more of it, God. Let us replicate this and see if God doesn't change it around. I'll say this. If you can encourage and show gratitude all the rest of the days of your lives, there is no room for negativity. There is no room for the enemy to come in. It squashes everything. Everything the enemy wants to do is make you not enjoy the person next to you. And God says, no, I want to love all of them, even an enemy at all times. Couples, and to all my boxing people out there, a corner man will always root you on to go one more round, to get up and fight. What God has brought together, let no man separate. Point 3, to all Timothys, humble yourselves so we can be the next Paul in someone else's life. God did not bring you together to have the success that you have in your marriage for the restoration. We just prayed earlier, Kai, you prayed that marriages are being restored and people are coming back together. I know it, I've been experiencing it. I'm working with 8 couples right now and all of them are back together and talking and doing stuff. He's doing that right now. Now listen, If you've been through those trials and tribulations, that is a gift that you came out of it. It is a blessing. Guess what that gift was meant for? Not for you to keep, but for you to share, to encourage the next person. If we got through it, you can get through it. You guys can be the next Paul, to the next Timothy, and so on. And what others can accomplish through you and your faith going forward. What can people accomplish? As I close it, and I'll have the worship team come up right now. I'll do it in 3 minutes. I thought you said 10:30. Can you make up your mind? You sound like my wife right now. Where do you want to go eat after this? Yeah, I know. Chili's okay? Yeah, it'll change in 2 minutes. That was like the one thing, no one ever prepared you that, like choosing dinner when you got married was gonna be like really easy. Anybody got one of those person who always changes their mind every 5? Thank you. His wife had her birthday yesterday, and my brother made reservations at Elk Grove Bistro, which is a really fancy place. And she's like, you know what, I would rather you just cancel it. I want to go to sushi. And Ryan's like, okay. I already put the $100 deposit down, but it's your birthday, so he canceled it. She calls back 5 minutes later. She's like, you know what, I think I'd like to go. He's like, I already canceled. I can't get it back. And she's like, all right, we'll make reservations at McCooney's or whatever. We'll go there. So Ryan makes reservations. She's like, you know what? Can we just get Taco Bell? Took the thunder from my brother. You know what I'm saying? But others will need to lean on your faith. And I want to tell you, there have been times that I have had to lean on other people's faith. When the recession hit and we thought we had kind of lost everything, and I was being sued out of nowhere by that fake, phony person who was going around suing everyone for ADA compliance. I didn't have a firm understanding of what was going on, so I didn't know my rights. All I know is that I was 25 years old, freaking out, saying, it's done, it's over. I didn't have a lawyer. You know what people are like, well, talk to my lawyer. That's not real. Okay, no, who here has a lawyer on call right now? Maybe one of you does, but, okay, Richard, you need one, brother. I know you do. But no one has a lawyer literally on retainer because that's expensive. And so I remember saying to myself, oh my gosh, it's done, it's over, we're not gonna be able to make it through this. And I remember questioning, like, God, why would you deliver us from all this other stuff only to now have a man say a lie and crush everything we've ever worked for at this time? And so then I'm in New York for my birthday. My wife decided to take me to New York for my birthday to have a celebration. I only wanted to go to Cat's Deli. I got the call on the walk to Cat's Deli that I was being sued. And listen, if you've never been sued before, the first time, it's scary, especially from a fake ADA thing, right? So I remember getting back to work on Monday morning, sitting in my office at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I wasn't really connected to my church because I didn't really want to be. I was the last one to come in and the first one to leave. Anybody else in here like that? I know that back row, that's all you guys. You guys are the last ones here, the first ones to leave. Don't worry, I can relate. Buddy, you're smiling because I know that's you. Yeah, but that was me. I didn't want to be connected to the body. I didn't want to hear about your stories. I didn't want to know what personal things you were going through, and I didn't want to hear about God blessing you because God wasn't blessing me. So why do I want to hear all that good stuff? I don't. So at 6 o'clock in the morning, while I'm at work, everyone's asleep, I get a call from a guy, a deacon at our church, Tim O'Brien. Now, if you ever met this guy, he's a terrible human being. He is. If you ever met him, you're like, this is not my friend, okay? That's a true story. But that morning, he goes, brother, I feel like I'm supposed to pray for you. I'm like, Tim, we have never said more than 2 words to each other at church. Why did you just decide to call me? He's like, David, something's going on. I feel it. What's going on? And I told him, I said, listen, if you ask, I'm going to tell you, okay? By the way, if I'm having a bad day and you ask me how I'm doing, get prepared. I'm going to tell you everything, okay? And I told him everything that was going on. I go, it's all over. It's done. I go, I'm being sued. There's no way out of it. I don't have money for this. I can't afford a lawyer. We're negative $20,000 in the bank. What do you want me to say? And he goes, David, I'm gonna pray right now that God is gonna show up by 9 o'clock today and solve all this. And he prays for me. After the prayer, I said, brother, I can't hear it or feel it, but I'm gonna lean on your faith in this moment right now that God's gonna show up and do because of your faith. Sometimes our faith has to pull the other person out at times. And I was all in on his faith at that time. 9:01, I get a call from my lawyer. Hey man, the lawsuit's been dropped. It's all over. Listen, sorry singers, I'm sorry. I went a little over. As a couple, in this way, You are called to be a Paul and to share that with the Timothys, to help encourage the other marriage, to help encourage the other person, and at all times convince them that they can go one more round. God is the God of the impossible. I could go over story after story of all the times that he has shown up when I thought he would never show up. I could share stories after stories of other things that have happened in other people's life where they thought God couldn't do it, and he's always shown up. It is our job as believers in Christ to encourage the Timothys out there. And no more important, the best place you can do it would be in your own home with your own husband, your own wife, and your own kids, because they're the next generation of believers. Church, will you guys stand with us right now in this moment?